Hello, my name is Alicia Shapiro with AInews.com, and welcome to another episode of our Driving Tomorrow Conversations with Industry Leaders, where we explore the latest developments and newest innovations in the world of artificial intelligence. Today, I'm excited to be speaking with Arun Saigal, co founder and CEO of Thunkable, the leading no code mobile app platform that's empowering millions of people around the world to bring their ideas to life without writing a single line of code. But Thunkable isn't just a drag and drop builder. It's a powerful native app development platform designed to make technology creation accessible to everyone. With features like open APIs, advanced logic blocks, and seamless publishing to the App Store, Play Store, and the web, Thunkable has helped users in 184 countries build more than 10 million apps to solve real world problems, launch businesses, and improve their communities. In today's interview, we'll explore Thunkable's new GenAI powered plan, look ahead to the future of mobile apps, and discuss how no code platforms like Thunkable are closing the tech gap from classrooms to global creators. So, thank you for joining us today, Arun.
Alicia, thank you so much for having me. It is such a treat to be here,
Oh, great. I'm glad to have you here. I'm really looking forward to our talk today.
as am I.
Yeah. For those who may be new to Thunkable, can you start by telling us what the platform does and your mission behind it?
Absolutely. Thunkable is a platform that lets anyone build powerful native mobile apps without writing a single line of code. You can drag and drop components or just describe what you want your app to do, and we help bring it to life. At the end of the day, we're here to turn passive consumers of technology into active creators. And now, with our new Gen AI features and capabilities, you don't even need to worry about the visual programming aspects. You can actually just come in and prompt your way into the perfect app for you. You can come in and just say, hey, I want Uber for pets that has a purple theme, and we'll be able to spit it out for you. And then anything you might want to tweak, you can go into Thunkable's visual development platform and tweak it to make it exactly as you want it to be. And at the end of the day, Thunkable's mission is to democratize app creation. We believe tech shouldn't be limited to people with just a computer science degree or access to expensive tools. Whether you're a student with an idea, a teacher building something for your classroom, or a solo entrepreneur solving a problem in your community, we want to give you the power to make real software. It's about making creation feel possible for everyone and giving people the tools to go from idea to app as quickly as possible.
Yeah. I love that because I do not code and I have so many ideas I want to get out there. So this is great. I'm going to try your product.
Fantastic. Yeah, you have so many people who you run into who say, I have this crazy powerful supercomputer in my pocket that has all this processing power, and I have no idea how to manipulate it. I just
Yeah.
get to download the apps that are on the App Store, but not actually use the app that's perfect for me because no one's built it. But
Yep.
when people say, "Oh, if only there was an app for that,"
Mm,
now we're actually giving them the ability to say, "You can make that app."
yeah, that's exciting. And you're about to launch a new plan that gives creators access to generative AI features. What can creators expect from this new offering, and what kind of creators is this designed for?
We're trying to lower the bar for anyone to be able to build an app, for anyone to be able to at least come in and start and say, I have this idea. Let me see it come to life. Like I said, so many times I hear people say, oh, what if there was an app for that? If only there was an app for that. Well, we want everyone to say, hey, if only there was an app for that. All right, let me go try making it.
Yeah.
And so for us, the biggest thing we're focusing on is making sure it's as easy as possible to get started and as easy as possible to build. For so long, the elite few who have the knowledge, the expensive hardware, the high level degrees have been the ones who have been able to decide what actually gets built for our phones and for the web. And what we're saying is it's not the people who have the skills, but it's the people who have the ideas who should be empowered to actually bring those ideas to life. And so for a long time, we've been building a no code tool, a visual development tool that allows people who don't necessarily have the software development background to be engineers, to be creators. Because we built a platform that allows anyone to come in and bring their idea to life if they have a sense of logic. If they know, okay, when I click this button, I want to change the color. Great, you can actually build that with our visual programming logic. Now, with the Gen AI capabilities, you don't even need to get into that logic. You can just prompt your way. You can
Mhm.
say, hey, I want an app that does this certain thing, that has this certain color palette and this certain functionality. I want there to be 10 screens, and this is what I want the logic to be. And you come into Thunkable, you tell us that, and we'll spit out the app. We'll generate the app for you. We'll generate the images for you. We'll get you the logic. We'll get you the databases set up. We'll plug it all in. And if you're happy with it, awesome. If you
Mhm.
want to iterate on it, you can keep prompting your way through. If you want to actually get under the hood, you can get in to our visual programming tool and you can say, okay, I want to actually change the logic around here and I want to change the color here and I want to tweak it. And you can actually get your hands dirty in the logic, in the data, in the design without needing to be a software engineer, a professional designer, a professional SQL user, etc. And then once you're done, which a lot of people forget about, this very important part, we make it really easy to publish. We make it easy to launch to the app stores, to Apple's App Store, to Google's Play Store. Then we make it easy to maintain after the app stores make their updates annually at least. We make it easy so that you can actually upgrade your app with no problem. And you can build once and push it live to Android, to iPhone, and to web in one fell swoop.
Yeah. That is so powerful. And like you said, it's very accessible to even people who don't know how to code or may not be a technical person. So it sounds like anyone can use your app or your program without being overwhelmed. But it's super cool that you're helping get it published to the app stores. I've never heard of that being offered before. So that's amazing.
Yeah, it's really powerful. And again, so many folks come in and say, hey, I have an idea, and a lot of tools allow you to prototype and get started on it. For us, you're only done when people are actually using your app. And you might be the end consumer and you might be using your app, or it might be other folks. But to do that, it's not just about the building, it's about everything else. It's about the publishing, about the maintenance, et cetera. And we've invested a lot of time and energy in making what we believe is the simplest tool in the market to actually publish your apps with, and not only publish but maintain them over the years as new hardware and new software comes out, as upgrades are made. We want to make sure that you're staying on the cutting edge so you can build something with Thunkable and know that 2, 3, 5 years from now it will still be able to be on the cutting edge and it won't fall behind the times. If
Yeah.
you're excited to move it forward, we'll be right there with you, making it possible to move forward.
That's awesome. And what about the support? As a non-technical person, if I run into trouble, how is your support enabling them?
That's a great question. So there's a few different ways that we support our users, right? One is through GenAI itself, right? We have a chat bot for when you get stuck. We have tools to allow you to generate templates, allow you to generate logic. We have our style AI, which allows you to design your apps better. It helps you make things more visually appealing. You can say, hey, I like this, but instead of light mode, can you turn it to dark mode? And can you make it look more professional or more fun, more party? Like you can give it those kind of instructions and we will help you do whatever you need. Hey, can you make my logic better? Can you make my database have another field? We'll have all the tools that allow you to do that. We
That's
also
awesome.
have something that I think is extremely valuable, which is a global community of millions of creators. We have a community forum that you can go to. You can post your questions, you can post favors you want to ask folks. Hey, I launched this new app. Would people here be willing to download it, try it out, and give me some feedback? Hey,
Oh,
does anyone have thoughts on how I can make this better? I think one of the most valuable things you have at Thunkable is just an incredibly engaged and inspiring community of builders who are right there with you. If you go online at any hour of the day to our community forum, community.thunkable.com, you can find people who are excited to collaborate, who are excited to help, and excited to see you succeed. And I think that's one of the most exciting parts of Thunkable. And then we also have a team in-house, of course, that if you run into any issues and all of these tools don't work for you, you can talk to and we can help you directly as well.
I love that. That's so great. I didn't realize there was a community that could do that. That's super cool.
Yeah, that's I think one of the most powerful things about us and any tool. I think we've always said internally that you're only as strong as your community. If you have a community that is excited to help each other, it's going to propel the product forward. If you have a community that's excited about what you're doing and shares feedback, that'll let you know what you need to build next, et cetera. And so for us, we've always said that you're only as strong as your community. And so from day one, we've invested heavily in our community and we've been very blessed that our community has invested back in us.
That's awesome. I have an interesting question I just thought of. You said you help get the apps into the app stores, but do you walk people through with getting those developer licenses from the Apple Store and the Google Play Store, or do they use your license? How does that work?
Great question. So we believe that you need to own the IP that you make. If you make an app, you need to own it. If you're going to own it, you should publish it to your account.
Yeah.
You should be the one who has the end-to-end authority on where it gets published, who gets to view it, et cetera.
Mhm.
And that's really important to us is this concept of ownership.
Yeah.
And as a result, you need to get your own developer license. You need to put it on your own account. But that's not trivial for most folks, myself included, to do. And so we make it as easy as possible. We have a WYSIWYG guide that helps you at every step of the way to get from the app being developed all the way to published. And we'll walk you through how you get these licenses and things like that. And whatever we can do for you or wherever we can help you, we do. And when we can't, we tell you exactly what to do in step-by-step guides. And when you get stuck, we have all kinds of troubleshooting, et cetera, that'll help so that you are able to get to that end point of actually publishing. Because
Mhm.
as you probably note, it is hard often to actually get those developer
Yeah.
licenses, to figure out what you need to do, how you need to do it, et cetera. And so for us, we make sure we make it as easy as possible. We do whatever we can do for you. And for certain things that we can't do for you because you need to do it to make sure you have ownership of it, we walk you through exactly how to do it and allow you to upload various things that you'll get from the app stores to our platform so we can package it all together and make it as easy for you to publish as possible.
That's amazing. I love that.
Yeah.
And you were recently at the AI show in San Diego where the focus was on education and innovation. How is Thunkable being used in classrooms and what role do you see it playing a future in the future of education?
A great question. Teachers are using Thunkable to build the foundations of computer science concepts while allowing students to harness their creativity. And by that, teachers are actually teaching classes using Thunkable,
Wow.
and we're one of the largest ways that kids learn to code in the country and globally. A
Wow.
lot of folks come in, and our product actually came out of research that we did at MIT, where we really concluded that the best way for a lot of non-developers or early learners to learn computer science was through visual programming. This idea that you still have programming concepts, if and else and for loops and things like that, but you're
Mhm.
not worried about where does my semicolon go and where does my bracket go and is my syntax right? You're worrying about the concepts. That's the really important part behind computer science, which is computational thinking, computational logic. And so Thunkable was built with the idea that you should be able to learn and understand computational thinking
Mm.
and logic. So you end up learning the basics of coding, but in a different way. Instead of starting with downloading an integrated development environment and all these plugins and learning all of these funny syntax rules that aren't actually helping you with logic, with Thunkable, you get to actually learn the important computational thinking concepts. You get to learn logic. And now with the GenAI pieces that we have on top of that, for a long time, humans had to learn the machine's language and talk to the machine in its language. And because the machine needed a semicolon here and a bracket there and a funny statement in Java like system.out.println, you had to learn those things, even though they didn't really mean much from a human logic standpoint. Now, with Thunkable, you can actually come in and be a human. And if you learn the logic, you can talk like you would as a human. right? Where you can say, hey, add a button that does this. And not only that, but you can go into our visual programming tool and say, when the button is clicked, do something versus 20 lines of code all to just say when I click the button. And so we actually really allow you to do that. And so what's important is that students learn, hey, I need to worry about clicking the button, grabbing whatever happens, and doing something. I don't need to worry about all the other stuff that the machine asks me to tell it, but isn't actually important to my idea and my logic. So, Thunkable, like I said, is being taught, and you're seeing so many incredible results from it. We're in thousands of classrooms all over the world. In Mobile, Alabama, there are elementary school kids who just won their state tech fair because while other students were coming in with PowerPoint presentations or static mock-ups, these kids came in with fully functioning mobile apps that were running on their
Wow.
phones, blew the minds of the judges, and the judges didn't know that there was a tool like Thunkable that they were using, and so they just came in and said, "Hey, we built apps." And the cool part about the world we're in now is no one really cares about what exact tool you use to build
Yeah.
the app. I care about the result. If you have a website on the web, great. I don't care how you built it so long as it does what I need it to do. If you have an
Right.
app on your phones, I'm happy as long as you've done what I needed it to do. So these kids were able to use Thunkable and build fully functioning Android apps, iOS apps, and web apps and come into their state tech fair and say, hey, while everyone's got designs and ideas and hand drawings, I've got a real app. Here's the phone. Go play with it and tell me what you think. And they swept the competition, right? We have a teacher, Steve Zanotti in LA, who's been teaching with us for 9 or 10 years at this point, and he's been making sure that every one of his students, from high schoolers who are going on to top universities, all the way to students who plan to work right out of graduation and have been doing career and technical education with him, that they have real world skills that they can apply today, that they learn how to build apps that can directly translate to skills they can use in the workplace. And we also have teachers who are using Thunkable in the classroom to help make their classes better. We have a Spanish teacher who built a flashcard app to help him and help his students
Wow.
learn his material. This was an app that he just built directly for himself in the class. It wasn't one that he was trying to sell and publish. It was just, hey, I really want a niche solution that teaches exactly what I'm teaching that every student can have on their phone because that's where many of his students live is on their devices. And so
Wow.
he built an app with us, and now all of his students are able to use it. It's so powerful to
Yeah.
see what you can do with a tool like Thunkable in the classroom. And it's been one of the largest ways, like I said, that students are now learning to code and build.
And like you said, now they don't have to learn the computer's language. The computer's learning their language. I love that.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah,
really
it's super cool. And it's really important because the computer needs to understand how humans speak. But something I said earlier, if you want, you can actually go and get under the hood. And so what's really valuable is students can tell the computer, hey, in natural language, here's what I want. But then the students can go under the hood and say, okay, what did that translate to for the machine? Because at the end of the day, not only do we want the machines to understand us, but we need to make sure in the future that we understand what the machines are doing,
right.
right? There are those who will be using the AIs and those who will be creating the AIs. And we want to make sure that there are as many people as possible who are creating and understanding how the AIs work. And so for us, not only is it about the machines understanding us, but it's that translation then from what we say to what the machine is interpreting and actually making sure that we understand them as well.
I love that. And you obviously are very passionate about the education sector. And I love that it's doing amazing things for those kids that just won their state tech fair. That is amazing. I love that they did that. Yeah. And what do you see as the biggest opportunities and maybe biggest challenges when it comes to using no code and Gen AI to solve real world problems? Maybe especially in communities that have not had that access to traditional technology before.
The biggest opportunity we see is in unlocking the creative and problem solving potential
Mhm.
of people who have traditionally been left out of the tech equation, not because of lack of ideas, but because of lack of access to the technology to bring those ideas to life. No code platforms combining with Gen AI are leveling the playing field.
Yeah.
They allow educators, small business owners, students, and community leaders to go from idea to implementation to impact without needing a computer science degree or a Silicon Valley zip code. And I
Yeah.
think that is really the biggest opportunity here is leveling the playing field. I think we also have a really cool opportunity here to demystify AI for students of all ages.
Yeah.
And that's something that I think we're really excited about to the education specific point, where there are a lot of folks who are using, hey, ChatGPT, help me write an essay, things like that. But at the end of the day, if you don't know how these AIs are working and what they're doing and how to manipulate them and combine them, you'll end up falling probably behind or prey to whatever their creators at the end of the day decide is. And so what's also important is we're giving folks the ability to get hands-on, to use AI to make projects, but also to make AIs and combine AIs themselves. For example, there's a gentleman who has a business who took image recognition, combine that with speech to text, combine that with text to speech, combine that with his own custom GPT to end up help him repair machines. So what he'd do is he'd go to a machine, he'd take a photo with his headset, and then he would take that photo and say, hey, see what's wrong with this. And he'd use some image recognition capabilities to see what was wrong. He'd also leave it voice notes. So it would take his speech and turn it into text. It would combine that and look at a custom LLM basically that he built to understand the instruction manuals that he used to read through these giant PDFs and books. And instead, he trained this LLM on those and then said, hey, now that you understand what's in these guides, can you tell me what's wrong based on this image, based on these notes? It would then figure out what's wrong. Then it would have text to speech and speak back to him and tell him on his handset, on his mobile app that he then had plugged in on a wireless headset, hey, this is what we're seeing as wrong. Here's what we suggest. And then he'd go about and repair things. And he said that took him from what might have been a week to repair something to 3 to 4 hours. And this was because he had access to all these different AI tools and was able to actually figure out how to combine them and turn them into something that fit his needs. And now not only does he have access to these AI tools, he's actually a creator using these and combining these to make a solution for himself. So I think that really shows kind of the types of opportunities that we have here.
It's empowering people to solve their own problems rather than wait for somebody to build it or a big tech company to build something. They're taking it into their own hands and building it themselves. And I love that.
That's exactly it. And I think that's what's so exciting here is you don't have to wait for somebody else to bring your idea to life. And that too, they'll probably bring your idea to life incorrectly according to you because they don't know what's in your head. But
That's true.
you, with the power to be the designer, the developer, the product manager, and the end user, can build the perfect solution for yourself. And that's so empowering and so exciting.
It is. Yeah. What about some of the challenges? What do you see as some of the main challenges that are getting in the way?
I think right now there are a lot of costs still with using a lot of these tools. And so I think making sure these tools are truly accessible in terms of affordable, but also in terms of being inclusive, in terms of being intuitive, I think that's really important, right? There are a set of people who are making these tools. And as a result, you need to make sure that they're being made for everybody. And I think that's like with any new technology, that's always a challenge, but that's also really the opportunity that we have is that the barrier to entry is lower than it has ever been before. And thanks to no code and Gen AI tools, we're moving even further in that direction where even more people are able to build things in a way that they couldn't before. If you think about this idea of having a database, that's really great and powerful for a lot of folks. But most folks who want to use and manipulate data are very happy with the spreadsheet. And spreadsheets make data accessible to everybody, right? Same way, there are a lot of these great and powerful development tools for software engineers out there, but there are now tools like Thunkable that allow everybody to be a software engineer, to be a creator, and to bring their ideas to life, which I think is so exciting. The
Yeah.
other piece is I think it's about investing in education and support systems so that people don't just have the access to tools, but they feel confident in using them. The future of technology is not just built in the labs, it's being built in classrooms, neighborhoods, and community centers around the world. And no code with Gen AI is that bridge, right? We need to make sure that all of these places, educational institutions, community centers have access to these tools, and then they know how to use these tools and they know how to manipulate these tools. Because at the end of the day, you don't just want people who are passive consumers of whatever they are being given. You want people to actually be active creators of their future. And the only way to do that is giving people access to the tools and then giving them the understanding of how they work, understanding how you can go under the hood so that they can not just be these passive consumers, but they can truly be these active creators.
Yeah. I think that fits perfect into my next question because I was just going to ask from your perspective, how is generative AI changing the landscape of mobile apps, but not just how they're built, but how they function and serve the users?
Yeah, we're not just witnessing a shift in how mobile apps are built, we're seeing a fundamental change in what apps even are.
Yeah.
GenAI is evolving apps from static tools into adaptive conversational experiences. And to make that a little more tangible, right? If you think about storybooks, they've always had one storyline. Now, so many folks are building GenAI storybooks, and we've seen this on Thunkable. People are building apps that it is a choose your own adventure, and there are an infinite number of possibilities in the app that you're looking at on what the story can actually be. A kid can come in and say, hey, does this person jump, walk, or run? You click jump, and if jump, something else happens, right? The whole idea of kind of the one way to do things that's been in the creator's mind is now changing to be the infinite ways to do things that you as a user, the standard consumer, is now still an active creator and participant. And so I think that's really exciting, right? This is moving us from build once and deploy to build once and then evolve it with the user. And that goes for platforms that make apps as well, like ourselves, right? So from our vantage point at Thunkable, GenAI doesn't just accelerate development, it redefines the role of the creator. Now, a small business owner can generate a fully functioning app idea in a few minutes. They can test it, iterate, and deploy all without writing code.
Wow.
But more than that, the apps themselves are becoming dynamic. They can generate personalized content, respond intelligently to user behavior, and even create new interfaces or outputs in real time. And I think that's what's super cool, right? We're changing how people build, we're changing what they build, we're changing how the end users are then interacting with what is built. And I think that's just so incredibly exciting and incredibly powerful because so many of the tasks that we just said, of course, this is how it'll work. Well, now there are apps that can do those things, right? This is like the industrial revolution where we used to imagine that most people had to be on the fields picking fruits and vegetables and things like that. And all of a sudden you had machines that can do that work. And
Yeah.
that redefined what it meant to be a farmer. That also made us rethink what does it mean to be human? What does it mean to interact with technology? And I think we're at one of those really pivotal moments, which is really exciting. And of course, there is a challenge that comes with that. With the great power comes the great responsibility of making sure AI driven apps are transparent, ethical, and aligned with real human needs.
Yeah.
But the direction is clear. The age of static apps is giving way to a new era of living, responsive digital experiences.
It's the experience, not just the function. I love that.
Totally.
Yeah. And looking ahead, what's next for Thunkable? Are there any new features or markets or initiatives you're excited about?
Yeah, there's so much that I'm excited about. I've never been more excited about the future of Thunkable as I am now. To begin with, as I've said many times, our mission hasn't changed. It's to turn passive consumers of technology into active creators. That's always our core principle. That's what we started with, and that's what we're continuing with. We want to make sure that everyone is able to build something great.
Yeah.
But what's next for Thunkable is a bold leap into AI native app creation. We're not just layering AI onto the no code platform, we're fundamentally reimagining how people build, iterate, and launch software in a world where Gen AI is the co creator. We've already launched an AI chatbot, as I talked about, to help guide our users through the app creation process. We've launched a template generator that allows people with a simple prompt to generate, in essence, all of the designs that they're going to need for their app. We've then got a design helper that will help you make those designs even better and look like exactly what you want them to look like. And then we've got the ability to generate logic, blocks, visual code that now gives functionality to that design. We've got the ability to give you databases so you can actually store information from your users' interactions, right? That's where this is all going, to AI native design. And we still have the visual no code tool, because at the end of the day, you might want to still go in and tweak something. You might say, hey, I'm just stuck here and I don't even know what to prompt, but I want to just get in and I want to go. I know exactly where I want to go and what I want to do. Or I just want to understand what the machine is doing here, because if there's an error, I want to know where it's coming from. And I want to make sure that the machine isn't doing something that I don't want it to do. And so I want to be able to look under the hood and actually understand it. So that's where we're going, to AI native development with still this no code capability. And when we do that, it's so cool, because that allows you to just have your designer, developer, and product and QA team all be your AI companion, all assist you as you're building your ideas out. And that opens the doors for entrepreneurs, educators, students, and creators everywhere to bring their ideas to life faster than ever. We're also, as you talked about, doing a lot in education and making sure that students, teachers, and learners everywhere are actually understanding how to use these tools and making sure that they're prepared for this next wave of the AI led future.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, our heart remains the same, our focus remains the same, which is democratizing app creation. And with GenAI, we're doing it at a whole new scale. We're enabling an order of magnitude people more than we had before. We're making software feel less like something you use and more like something you create, you shape, you interact with, and you build in real time.
That's so exciting. I am excited for you, and I will try out your app because I can't wait to try it out myself.
Fantastic.
Awesome. Thank you, Arun, for sharing how Thunkable is shaping the future of mobile apps by making app creation more accessible and impactful for everyone. It's really exciting and it's a powerful platform, and I love speaking with you today. So thank you for joining us again.
Thank you so much. It has been such a treat to be here and excited for what the future holds for us all.
Yeah. And if you'd like to learn more about Thunkable, you can visit their website at thunkable.com. Keeping you connected to tomorrow. Today, this is Alicia with AInews.com.